relation between roots and coefficients relation between the roots and coefficients of a quadratic equation in an advanced level. So here the relation which we are going to find out between roots of the quadratic equation and as well as the coefficients of the quadratic equation is of the product of the roots. The quadratic equation gen form is of ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 and the roots are of x equals to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, whereas when we assume the first one, the first root as alpha, that is minus b plus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, and the other root as beta, that is minus b minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Then now let us find out this product. So here we are going to find out the product of the roots. So this is the next relation which we are going to find out between the roots of the quadratic equation and as well as the coefficients of the quadratic equation. Before going to know about the product of the roots, so first of all let us know the gen form. So here gen form, that is the general formula of a quadratic equation. QE indicates the quadratic equation. So gen form of a quadratic equation is of ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, whereas a is not equal to 0 and whereas b comma c, b is the coefficient of x and c is the real constant, they are belonging to the real numbers, in which a is the coefficient of x square, b is the coefficient of x and c is the real constant and the variable is of x. So in order to find out the variable, that is x, so here x can be determined by the formula, that is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac overall divided by 2a. Here there are two roots because the quadratic equation is of second degree, x to the power of 2, it is of second degree quadratic equation, it has two roots, one is of the positive, the other is of the negative, so they can be written as, first root I am going to assume it as, say a root number 1, say a first root I am going to assume it as alpha, which is nothing but x, can be given by means of the formula. So minus b, I am taking the positive, so plus root of b square minus 4ac overall divided by 2a. Then now the second root, say a root number 2, that is beta, so here given by means of x, which is nothing but, so minus b, so the next root is of minus b minus, so here minus root of b square minus 4ac overall divided by 2a, whereas here this symbol indicates alpha as the first root, which is x, I am taking it as positive because there are plus or minus 1 of positive, the other is of negative here. So here this second one indicates, this symbol indicates beta, so here I assume the second root as beta and the first root as alpha, but here we have to find out the relation, that is product relation between the roots and as well as the coefficients of the quadratic equation. So here then the next logical step will be of product of the roots. So here product of the roots, product indicates the multiplication symbol. So here in order to find out the product, so we have to multiply both the roots, that are alpha and as well as beta. So here product of the roots is given by means of alpha into beta, whereas that equals to. So here as per the problem we got alpha as minus b plus root of b square minus 4ac overall divided by 2a as the first root. So it must be multiplied with, so here multiplied with the second one as beta. Beta is of minus b, here it is of positive, then here we will be getting as negative minus root of b square minus 4ac overall divided by 2a. Now let us write this first minus b within the bracket, then now minus b within the bracket. When I assume, here is the product symbol in between, when I assume minus b as a and root of b square minus 4ac as b, here also I assumed minus b as a, so here I have to assume minus b as a, root is assumed as b, here also this root I have to assume as b, but when we see the numerators, it is in the form of a plus b dot, that is into, so here a minus b, so here it is in the form of a plus b into a minus b. So as per that special product, so we know that, so here but a plus b into a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. So based upon this special product, the numerator can be written as, so here alpha into beta can be written as a plus b into a minus b, whereas here a is assumed as minus b and as b is, capital B is assumed as under root b square minus 4ac. Then now, so here minus a plus b into a minus b can be written as a square minus b square. So here based upon this I say here a square, a value is of minus b whole square minus b square. So here b is of root of b square minus 4ac, but it must be squared. So instead of a plus b into a minus b, so dot indicates into, so I wrote it as a square minus b square. So a I assumed as minus b, so it must be squared as per a square minus b square. So here b is of root, so it must be squared. Overall divided by, so denominators must be multiplied because there is of into symbol in between. 2a into 2a, that is 2 into 2 is of 4, then now a into a is of a square. That implies minus b is repeated twice, minus into minus is of plus b square plus b square as it is. Then now square and the root will be gets cancelled, so minus as it is in the between, so brackets, in the bracket there is of b square minus 4ac, because before this bracket there is of negative symbol, so I have to write as within the bracket, therefore so overall divided by 4a square. Then now that implies when bracket is removed, so plus b square must be copied as it is. Then now when we open this bracket, we have to multiply entire each and every term by means of negative sign, so it is of positive, plus of minus, minus of plus is of minus, b square written as it is. Then now minus bracket indicates into, minus into minus is of plus, then now 4ac must be written as it is, overall divided by this 4a square as it is. Then now b square is of negative here, b square is of positive, they will be gets cancelled. Then now that implies 4ac divided by 4a square. So here 4ac divided by 4a square, 4 gets cancels, but a to the power of 2 is here, a to the power of 1 is in the numerator, but that equals to, or that implies c is left over in the numerator, but a power 1 by a power 2, it is in the form of a power m by a power n. Denominator's exponent is greater than numerator's exponent, so here n is greater than m, so here a to the power of n minus m, that is 2 minus this 1, so here 2 minus 1. Here I have used one logical step, that is a power m divided by a power n is equals to 1 divided by a power n minus m. So here when n is greater than m, then now, so here that equals to c divided by a power 2 minus 1 is equals to just a in the denominator. So here in this manner I got alpha into beta is equals to c divided by a power 2 minus 1 is of 1, that is c divided by a. So here that implies alpha into beta is equals to c divided by a. So here this is nothing but the product. So here into indicates the product of the two roots. So here hence product of roots of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 is of c by a, that is alpha plus beta is equals to c by a, whereas alpha plus beta is nothing, alpha into beta. So here alpha into beta is of c by a, whereas into indicates the product here. Therefore, product of the two roots is equals to c by a, whereas c is nothing but the constant divided by a is nothing but the coefficient of x square. So it can be written as, so c is the real constant divided by a is the coefficient of x square. So it is nothing but the coefficient of x square. So based upon this formula, so let us perform one example, that is problem number 1. So here the problem number 1 is of, without solving quadratic equation, find the product of roots of the equation. So here the quadratic equation is of two x square plus 9x minus 2 is equals to 0. Solution starts now. So in our solution, as per the problem, the given quadratic equation is of 2x square plus 9x minus 2 is equals to 0. So that implies the gen form is of ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, which is nothing but the gen form of quadratic equation. So here let us compare. By comparing, so here x square's coefficient is of a and x square's coefficient is of 2, and x coefficient is of b, and here x coefficient is of 9, positive 9, and c, constant c is minus 2. So here by comparing, the coefficients and as well as the constants, so we can write, so here a value as 2, so here a is equals to 2, and b, that is the x coefficient, so here x coefficient is of 9, b must be replaced by means of 9, and the constant c, so here c is equals to minus 2. So now we have to find out, as per the problem, the product of the roots of this particular equation, quadratic equation. So here now the next logical step will be of product of the roots that is alpha into beta. When alpha and beta are supposed as the roots of the quadratic equation, it is given by means of c divided by a, which is constant divided by x square's coefficient. Then now, so here that implies c, as per the problem we got c value as minus 2 and a value as plus 2. So here c is of minus 2 and a is of 2. So c is of minus 2 written as it is, substituted in the place of c, and a by means of 2. 2 gets cancelled by means of 1 in the numerator and as well as denominator. So here that implies, so here negative must be written as it is, negative sign must be copied as it is, 1 by 1 is of 1. So in this manner we got alpha into beta. So alpha into beta is equals to minus 1. So here hence product of the roots of the given equation, of the given quadratic equation is equals to minus 1.